My flatmate's boyfriend crashed in our home. Now I'm forced to move out.
Get out of my house.
My flatmate messaged me the day before that she was due to arrive back home from holiday to let me know that her boyfriend would be coming back to live with us for 2 months and that he would be finding a job while he lived with us. He had moved overseas to live and work for a year, and then if things didn't work out in the other country, he would probably move back with her. By the way, this comes from Dancing Pineapple 4, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We're only going to guess what we would do in this situation, but let us know what you would do in the comments down below. So, OP says, I was really pissed off because she let me know less than 24 hours before that he would be living with us. She didn't ask either. She just let me know it was happening. I said I wasn't okay with it and was really clear that this is completely unfair on me and disrespectful. Our house is quite small, and I didn't agree to live with 3 people in a small 2-bedroom house, let alone a couple. She said sorry, but that she would do what she could to make sure that I wasn't inconvenienced.
Well, that would be by not having him come over.
Yeah.
That would be, he can't move in. That would be the
That would
least
be-
inconveniencing thing.
Yeah, just don't do it at all.
Yeah.
That is so crazy. I let her know that if this was happening, he had to pay his share. I wasn't happy and told her that I wouldn't be around much. We used to spend a lot of time together hanging out and watching similar TV shows. I let her know that I wouldn't do that anymore and instead would just do my own thing in my room or stay out of the house. She said that she agreed with me and that she would talk to him. When I got home after work, they were both there like nothing was wrong. When her and I finally got to talk on our own, I repeated everything I had said. She agreed with everything and let me know that it was only for 2 months, hopefully. I asked if he was moving back permanently because if so, I would move out. I didn't want to be living in limbo. She said that he wasn't and she didn't want to change her life when he would leave. I asked if she was sure because he was here for 2 months and I seemingly had no choice in this. So what if he decided to stay? Then what happens to me? She said she spoke with him and that he was really depressed that things didn't work out how he thought it would in the other country. She didn't want to push him or upset him. I let her know I still wasn't happy about this situation. She agreed, and then nothing happened. I told her I wouldn't hang out much, that I was annoyed, and that I didn't want to get so frustrated I'd end up saying hurtful things because I felt stuck and unhappy. I thought about it, and even though it had only been a week, I was still really uncomfortable about it. So I decided to tell her that I wanted to move out or he needed to find somewhere else to stay for the 2 months because I didn't want to be uncomfortable in my own house. I felt bad because I knew I'd put her in a crappy situation. I mean, she kind of put herself in a crappy situation. This is just consequences. Yeah, I don't know.
Absolutely.
She obviously hadn't spoken to him about all of this, or if she had, they were both pretending that everything was fine, which made my feelings about this seem very dismissed. Also, if he did move back overseas after 2 months, she'd then be stuck with a lease that she probably couldn't afford on her own. But I didn't want to be living for 2 months in a situation that I never agreed to, and then possibly, at the end of it, having to find a new place anyway. And we do have some comments, but I want to hear your comments before we get into those.
I think you should have gone through like the landlord and said like, this is not part of the lease. You can't,
Sure.
this is blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. If it comes to the point where you need to move out,
Yeah,
I think pull
then
that
that's not
move.
fair. I think
Yeah.
it's saying like, hey, we agreed to live together. I did not agree to live with another person.
Yeah.
Our lease did not agree to have 3 people in it.
Right? Right.
He's not on the lease, so he can't live here.
Yeah, and like I can't trust him to pay that money if he's not on it too. I mean,
He's not liable for any of that.
yeah, exactly. And like just tell me about things in the future. This is big. This is big.
Yep.
This is big. But we do have some comments. Comment number 1 says, not the a-hole. It is not okay for her to unilaterally decide things like this when you are roommates. What she has done is constructive eviction. She has changed the terms of your rental situation so drastically that it no longer resembles your original agreement. You have not put her in any situation. She has put you in one, and you leaving is a natural consequence of her actions.
Yep.
Do not place any blame on yourself and do not accept any from her. Someone else responds, exactly this. And what I'd wonder is what their lease says. Unless soon-to-be ex-roomie is the homeowner letting a room to OP. I'm not a lawyer, but I can't imagine many ways there aren't lease violations
Yes.
in making a unilateral decision to move in another person for a few months.
Yep.
It's-
Agreed.
It's sad that it's come to OP caring enough about Rumi's feelings to worry about moving out, a consequence of Rumi's actions, but Rumi didn't care enough beyond boyfriend's feelings to care about OP's with him moving in. And we do have an update, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think that was well said.
I agree, and that's what I was saying. So
Yeah.
I have no other thoughts than check your lease.
Yeah, exactly. Check your lease.
Yeah, that's
Go
why you have a
there
lease.
if you need to. Yeah, I think it that is honestly a good point though. It's like if her reasoning was that, you know, the boyfriend was all depressed that this didn't work out, then it's like, well, what about me being depressed when he's in here and I have to stay in my room because I don't like the situation.
Yeah.
But we do have an update. So I ended up being able to organize moving out. Okay. I gave her a month's notice and I'm being removed from the lease and moving elsewhere. It's been incredibly uncomfortable and I think in the end I didn't deal with it well. This was all happening just before Christmas, which was crappy. I spoke with her again and was firm. She let me know that she understood that he would be leaving for a week before coming back for a short time and then leaving again. I thought this would be okay, but he never ended up leaving. Aha, of course.
Yep.
Yeah, so he would be leaving. Yeah, okay. Suddenly, it was Christmas Eve, and she was cooking the three of us a Christmas dinner while I was at work. I felt awful because I was still mad and annoyed that she once again seemed to lie to me. Yet I couldn't be angry that he was still there because it was Christmas and she was cooking a dinner. I didn't want to participate and accept those nice gestures when I felt like it was all fake. My coworker convinced me that I had to say something. I felt horrible, but she convinced me. Although I probably ruined my flatmate's Christmas, I think it needed to be said. I let her know that I was sorry, but that he never left, and since she didn't stick to what she said, I would now be leaving. She canceled the dinner and wouldn't speak to me when I got home. Later, she told me that she asked him to stay because she didn't want to be alone. She was upset that no one considered her feelings and that she was distressed because she couldn't please both of us. She said she would rather I speak with him directly instead of using her as a middleman. I was confused and asked if I had a guess that she had a problem with, would it be her responsibility to punt them out? And by the way, it's your responsibility to check out full episodes with more stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. You gotta do it. It's your responsibility.
You gotta do it.
I don't know what to tell you. But there is a little bit more to this story, but
yeah. That's just a frustrating situation.
It really is.
Because like you go in, you like living with a friend,
yeah,
and then it just breaks down because they don't, you know, they're
Yeah.
not respectful.
because like yes, like her feelings might be all she might be distressed in the situation. She might be getting pressure from both sides, but it's also like, well,
There's only one pressure that actually matters.
yeah, like you are involved whether you like it or
Yeah.
not. Like you brought this situation in. Maybe like take a second back away from these people.
Yeah.
Think about what you actually think is right. If the boyfriend is maybe pressuring you into like oh, I don't have a place to stay, I'm so depressed or whatever, then you got to stand your ground with someone. You're doing it with OP. Maybe you should be doing it with your boyfriend.
You're making promises that you cannot keep.
Yeah.
Because it's not your right to keep them.
Yeah. Exactly. But there is a little bit more to the story.
Yeah.
So I've been venting to my best friend about everything that has happened. And in hindsight, that was an awful mistake. She is friends with my flatmate, but she has recently decided that she doesn't want to be friends with this person anymore if that is how they treat people. It's all my fault, and I've tried to convince her otherwise, but she won't budge. I didn't want to move out. I enjoyed living with this person, but unfortunately, I couldn't let the blatant disregard for the fact that it is also meant to be my house go.
Yeah.
So next week, I move out. I do feel bad about how all this went down, but I also feel relieved, and there are some comments.
I mean, it really, really sucks that you were kind of forced out of your place when, like, she had no right to do any of that.
Yeah.
However, also, you know, best, like, the other scenario is that you stand your ground, you convince her that she can't do this, and then it's awkward for the rest of your time living there.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
like, this is probably the best situation, so you don't have to live in, like, an awkward environment.
Right. Yeah.
It still sucks.
I think it's just people pleasing tendencies coming out here. It might feel bad, but once you get out of there, I feel like in hindsight, you'll be like, yeah, that was just really crappy what she was doing. So you're doing the right thing. Don't worry about that. Don't worry. But we do have some comments. Comment number 1 says, it's nice that you're so caring, but I'm concerned that it's bordering on something unhealthy for you. You didn't do anything wrong. You should have said something, so you did. You have every right to vent to your best friend, so you did. It's not your responsibility to talk to her boyfriend about this, so you didn't. Any fallout is her fault. It's not like you posted on social media or went around trying to get people to hate her. Also, her feelings are hers to care about and manage. She was a bad roommate doing that to you, and whatever she feels about this is, again, her fault. She needs to grow up. OP responds, I agree. It's actually something I'm trying really hard to work on. I think many people are probably like this, where they go along with what someone else wants because they don't want to cause a problem. That's how I felt anyway. But I really wasn't okay, and even just speaking up and saying no was really uncomfortable, especially when she agreed that I was put in a bad situation and apologized. But nothing seemed to change. Or she made promises and then didn't follow through. I'm not sure if she was lying or if it was terrible communication. It's unfortunate things turned out this way, and I hate being in this house now, but I'm glad to be leaving and really appreciate your kind words. And that is the end of that story.
Yeah. Good luck, OP. You're gonna have better situations in the future.
My roommates expected me to be their maid, so I packed my bags.
Y'all gotta share the chores, people.
I have 2 roommates, a couple, Lola and Tyler. They're about 10 to 20 years older than me, respectively, and our age gap never interfered with what could have been a friendship. By the way, this comes from QSAll, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Riley.
And I'm Angie.
And I'm Sophia.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you would do in the comments below. So OP continues. I never lived away from home before and moved in with these people last minute around the same time last year. They were alternative just like I am, so I thought things would go pretty well. But for my first few months, I could overhear them talking crap about me and my habits around the house. Like the fact I accumulated too much trash or that I didn't talk to them as much as they'd like. This made me withdraw even more. This being my first time having a cool space without children like at my family's house, I decided to have a small party for my birthday. Tyler and Lola were very supportive and let me know that they would love to attend and help me set up. But they told me I should help them deep clean the house, even though I had only been there for 2 months, to prepare everything for the party. Even though I knew my guests would not care if the house wasn't what Tyler and Lola expected to be perfect, it was supposed to be chill. I agreed, thinking it would be just going through their art room, maybe getting a few chairs, sweeping and mopping the house. But they never set aside a time for me to join them until right before the party was starting and I was setting up decorations with my friends. According to them, they spent over 16 hours deep cleaning the house for my party and thought it was unfair that I didn't really help other than sweep the stairs, the living room, which wasn't to their standards anyway. 16 hours deep cleaning?
How long were you guys awake before this party? It's a long time.
How
I mean,
big's
maybe
your
it was
house?
spaced out, but
If you're deep cleaning,
how dirty was it?
They never gave me a time to get together and clean, even though we had opposite schedules, and I needed guidance as to what they wanted to be done. The house looked very clean to me, so I genuinely had no idea what the deep clean was supposed to look like. They just took it upon themselves to do it and then got upset with me after the party itself. Tyler came up to me and said that they were not lifting a finger to clean the house after the party. I laughed and said, okay, awkwardly. After the party ended the next day, I took out all the trash, wiped down all of the counters, and emptied out all of the leftover beers. I mopped the living room and gathered all of the balloons into one spot just in case anybody wanted to play with them. I took down a majority of the decorations that I thought couldn't just stay there as a cute little memory and was truly pleased with my work, other than having way more solo cups than we would need for the next few months. Everything looked the same as it did after what they'd done, but later they asked me to do even more cleaning without specifying what they meant. So I looked at them confused and said I already did clean. That made Tyler very angry, and he raised his voice saying that they had cleaned the house for 16 hours for my party, and the least I could do was to get it back to their standards afterwards. But like
what are those standards? I feel like you gotta teach me, maybe. I mean, not in the way where she was saying well, teach me how to clean.
Yeah.
But if we have different standards, you have to tell me what they are.
Yeah,
You know? Like, tell me what I'm missing. Point to what I'm missing
Yeah.
and what you don't like being there.
Don't be mad about it. Maybe OP didn't grow up where, the
Yeah.
house looked a certain way, or like, learned how to clean.
Right. I remember being a kid and was like, oh, my room is so messy. And then I was like, I cleaned my room. And then I sent a picture on my iPad to my friend. And she was like, there's so much on the floor still. And I was like, what do you mean? You can see it now though.
This is the
what
dog hair corner.
you can see there was still some Barbies left out here and there. And I was like, well, it's pretty much clean.
Oh,
And then
my
I was
goodness.
like, oh, okay, got it.
That is so funny.
Got it. Yeah.
I looked around for anything and everything to do and found a few crumbs here and there, but that was about it. About a week later, I caught Tyler in the living room letting all of the air out of the balloons and saying this should have been my job.
I agree.
I didn't know they didn't want to keep the balloons, and it was never expressed to me that they wanted them gone. Okay,
Oh.
on the balloon issue, I see where OP's coming from.
I
do too.
I do too, but the thing is that no one is actually OP's they didn't tell me. OP, we gotta ask too. We gotta be like, hey, are you guys cool with these balloons being left up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone just needs to say what they're feeling in this household.
You know what we
Yeah.
really need here? A moderator. Someone, or mediator, someone in the middle, just kind of talking it out with people. I think that would
Well,
help out a lot.
I mean, maybe they can try
Like a
talking
middleman.
together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's working. I don't. OP sees cleaning as in a different perspective than her roommates.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Some communication needs to happen.
Personally wouldn't want to live with OP.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. I felt bad, but I went upstairs to my room, not thinking anything of it. So months go by and my sister visited. Tyler is not the most social adept person and likes to poke fun at people. He's almost 45, but still has that dark Family Guy type of humor where he likes to get under people's skin. And I could tell he was making my sister uncomfortable. It started to make me angry. I snapped at him, and it escalated to him getting very threatening to throw things and
What?
screaming in me and my sister's faces, even though we were half his age.
Oh my god. Yeah, and earlier he said that he raised his voice.
Yeah.
This is not a safe person to be around. Not
This
at all.
is super, super weird.
My gosh.
I felt very unsafe and wanted to leave. I knew I couldn't stay in that house any longer. That wasn't the first time he had screamed at me. In fact, it was the third. But I never expected him to do it while I had guests over. What was he so upset about, you ask? Me being messy? But not messy in my own space, like smelling of cat litter or big messes? He was mad about little things not that everyone notices, like a ring on the table, a leftover receipt, or crumbs by the toaster. Those were the things he was angry about. I can admit that I'm a messy person.
Yeah.
But even when I'm cleaning, I don't get upset with people for living tiny messes like that because I can understand that it's just human nature. And it was never intentional malice. He was upset that after the 3 roommate meetings we had about me picking up after myself, I was always very confused about what they meant. But when he was screaming at me about a receipt, crumbs, and a ring on the table, I suddenly understood this issue was a lot bigger than me just being messy. I can admit that my room looks like a tornado went through it, but I can graciously say that I do not leave very big messes in communal spaces. That is something I would never do. I even got my friend and my sister involved to back me up that I would never do something like that on purpose, and that it's probably not something they should be so mad about. Eventually, I felt like I was being gaslit because they were making claims about things that weren't true. They said they had thrown out my leftovers and that they had been there for weeks, when in actuality, I track everything I eat, so that made no sense. I understand that I'm much younger than them, but I never asked them to take care of me like that. After realizing he could be so verbally harmful, I realized I had to get out of that place because no grown man should be screaming at the top of his lungs in the faces of young women, especially when one of them is really small. My sister is 5'2".
Mm.
Aww. Lola would just sit in the back and sometimes separate us when things got too heated. But other than that, she seemed unfazed by his behavior. All these combined things made me walk on eggshells in my own home. I thought these people were going to be really cool when I moved in, but I was wrong. I didn't fit in their very strict standards for what's clean, and it escalated to the point of verbal abuse. Tyler was throwing things, screaming in my face, and putting his hands too close to me to the point where my sister had to get between us.
Oh my gosh.
I realized I needed to move out, and a couple of months later, I finally got the opportunity to start planning. My settlement check for my car accident was coming in, and I would finally have enough money. A friend of mine also reached out and said she would like to move in with me and be my roommate. All right.
Okay, we're finding solutions here.
Someone who has seen my room in shambles and still wanted to live with me, it made me feel very nice. My settlement check came on December 4th, and I told them December 1st that I was going to move out. They offered for me to stay, and I declined because I wanted to help out my friend since she needed to move too. They were very upset with me for giving them such short notice because I do plan on moving in the next few weeks now that I have the money. It was always an urgent need, but I didn't want to let anybody know until I was certain I could move, so things just wouldn't be awkward. Now they're sending me messages about taking pictures of my room with my stuff in it for listings and scheduling people to look at my room without consulting me. They're demanding that I have the room presentable for them without scheduling with me first. I get they need more notice, but I was genuinely afraid Tyler would get again if I said anything. Advice, please. By the way, you can listen to more advice from us on your favorite podcast platform. Just search up OK Storytime, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. I understand where you could be in the wrong for the short notice, but if you're just if the only consequence is them being mad at you, totally worth it.
Yeah, honestly, like if you can get out of there as soon as possible, I think that's for the best. It's totally understandable too that you were like scared of him getting violent again. I mean, that's not safe at all. I think in the meantime, how much time does she have before she moves out?
A few weeks.
Yeah, so that's good. If it's possible for you to kind of like lay low and just kind of like honestly, do I don't want to say like do what he says, but if you can try to appease to them somehow just to keep your safety, that would probably be important, and then just get out as soon as possible. And it's because of how he reacted, he doesn't deserve any good treatment from you at all.
Yeah,
I know that like I just suggested being nice to him and stuff, but like he doesn't deserve more of a notice. He deserves like you leaving him as soon as possible. Well, you don't have to do anything to
depending on the contract, you probably do need to give more than month notice.
Depends on the contract, I think. It's usually a month, but don't feel bad about it.
Yep.
Because you just got to get out there. It's for your safety.
You might have to pay longer.
Yeah, true.
Yep. So we have an update. Update. I'm the a-hole. What? Thank you all for the helpful comments. I genuinely had no idea how so much went into housekeeping.
Yeah, I think OP is just talking about the
cleaning part.
Okay,
yeah, you're not your roommates are the a-hole for screaming at you because that's crazy for sure. But you have to learn how to clean.
Yeah, I wasn't taught. I lost my parents at a young age. I have apologized to Tyler and Lola and have been helping them in any way I can to find a new roommate better suited for them. Even though I don't feel safe around Tyler, he did say I was on his top 3 roommates list, so I guess the other parts of me outshine my disgustedness. I'm moving in with someone just as clueless as me, so it'll be a better dynamic. We have planned a day off every week to clean. I found a AI webpage to make a list of stuff for both of us to do since we weren't taught.
Nice.
And we both have the right attitude of being ready to improve. Thank you for everyone for being so honest. Okay.
All right.
That's awesome.
That's great.
That is probably the best thing that you could have done.
Yeah.
I didn't pick my friend as a bridesmaid. Now she's backed out of my wedding.
Oh, well, her loss.
I, 28 female, am getting married in over a year. Recently, I've been putting together the bridal party with my fiance, 29 male. He has 4 people that he wants, and therefore I will only have 4. I'm okay with that, as I want even numbers. By the way, this comes from Ill Effect, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
And I'm Angie.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, however, my 4 I have chosen are from different chapters of my life. Middle school, high school, college, graduate degree. I have a super close friend from middle school that I have known for nearly 16 years. We talk almost every other day. My best friend Grace from high school and I have been BFFs for almost 11 years. I go to family dinners, vacations, and holiday events with her family. Alice from college and I have been like family for 8 years. I am her son's godmom. And my graduate friend has been my closest friend in the state I live in. For context, I knew who I would want for a long time now. This friend and I never had a conversation in the past 9 years where I said, I would have you in my party. This friend, 28 female, let's call her Sarah, and I have been friends since college. We met freshman year, but she transferred out. Sarah apparently lived 30 minutes from my hometown, and I introduced her to my best friend from my high school, Grace, 28 female, who is now my maid of honor. Ever since, we have all three been friends. However, Sarah would get very upset if Grace and I did anything without her. Grace and I have been best friends since junior year of high school. It would be okay if it was just Sarah and I doing something, or her and Grace doing something, but if Grace and I did anything, we had to include her. Moreover, she mentioned to Grace that she thought her and Grace wouldn't be in my party because I have a lot of new friends in graduate school. For more context, I moved 5 states away and have not lived at home for almost 3 years now. Moving along, I met my now fiance my sophomore year of college. She unintentionally caused issues between him and I a few times, and by unintentionally, I mean one of those times she called me to pick her up from Waffle House at 10 p.m. after the bar and needed a ride home. She posted a video and it made it look like I was out with a bunch of guys, although I placed a to-go order. Anyway, that got cleared up, but a mutual friend told me that Sarah swore he and I would never work out. Well, then why would you want to be one of the bridesmaids if you don't even believe in this union?
You know why? Because Sarah's a pick-me girl.
Yeah, she wants to be
pick-me
a part
girl.
of everything.
Yeah, you gross. Ugh.
She also would try to create a divide between Grace and I. Over the 9 years we have been friends, for at least 2 years we were not friends. Yeah, that probably makes sense why you wouldn't have her as your bridesmaid.
If you're already wishy-washy with your friendship with somebody,
can't be my bridesmaid.
you can't be my bridesmaid.
However, my relationship with Sarah does not go unnoticed. It was rocky a lot of the time, but there are good parts too. Sarah and I are friends, and I have been there for her through her health issues and family crisis. Sarah has been there for me during my mom's medical issues, and my other friends were too. Sarah is not a terrible friend, but she can be very dramatic at times, causing issues with other people that I had to help navigate. I am grateful for our friendship, but at the same time, I also feel like I have to hold her hand emotionally and walk her through right and wrong ways to react. This has been our whole friendship. Part of me knew that on a special day to me, she would support me, but I was also afraid of the theatrics. During my sophomore year, I also met my second best friend ever, Alice, 28 female. Alice and I were inseparable, almost as Grace and I were in high school. I basically moved into Alice's dorms. Alice is the one who actually encouraged me to date my fiance. I was Alice's maid of honor for her wedding, and now she will be the matron of honor at mine. I am her son's godmom. Anyway, I decided on my 4. I was confident in who I wanted, but I also knew it would come at a price of upsetting Sarah. I sat on it for days before bringing it up to her. I wanted her to know before asking anyone because I did not want her to feel blindsided. In my message to her, I conveyed that me choosing the different chapters doesn't diminish the value I have in her as a friend, or that I do not love her. I told her I was choosing from different chapters of my life. I knew it would upset her, but I did not think it would be this bad. I am feeling guilty. I even told her I never want to hurt her, but I never want to make her feel less important to me. I love her as a person, but I was also protecting my peace. She has not talked to me in 3-ish days since the message. Am I the a-hole for not choosing her? I feel like I did the right thing, but I'm just racking myself in guilt for hurting her. And there is an update, folks. But what do you think?
I say it all the time. Your wedding, your rules.
Your wedding.
Yeah, it's also, that's very generous of you to even go to her first and be like, hey, I already have my 4 picked out.
Yeah.
I feel like you could have,
You're still very important to me.
You could have sugarcoated it. If there was a 5th, you'd be the 5th.
Yeah.
And there's not. So, and I need you to understand, like,
You're my 4th favorite friend.
Yeah, exactly.
I need you to understand that.
Yeah.
No, don't say that. But, yeah, I think that's very reasonable. I think you get to choose who is standing by you on a very important day.
And the fact that I mean, we don't have her response yet, but we already know how she's going to respond. I mean, she didn't respond to you in 3 days. That's wild. She should be. I know it's kind of upsetting, and you know, I get it, but she should be like, okay, it's your wedding. I support it as long as I'm there and I can support you from like the sidelines, I guess, or from the back. I'm still happy to be there. She should be doing that as a friend.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thank you for your comments. She got back to me this afternoon. Essentially, I have been informed she doesn't want to attend the bachelorette next year. She doesn't want to attend the bridal party. She doesn't want to join me in getting ready. I tried to offer her to get ready with us so we could still be together. I only have 4 spots, but was told that it was stupid to offer that, but not offer her a spot up front at the wedding. I told her I was upset she didn't want to be part of the bachelorette, even stating that 2 of my friends in grad school wanted to be in the wedding, but I told them no because of limited spots, and they still want to be part of everything else. My dad and fiance have told me that they knew she would react this way,
That's
but
crazy.
I have the right to be upset that she doesn't want really anything to do with anything. At first, I thought I misread her text saying she didn't even want to be a guest. That was what made me cry. However, she clarified she will be in attendance, but nothing else. She also said that I do not value her the way she values me, and that if I cared for her at all, I would have waited to tell her because she has a lot going on, because her boyfriend of 3 months' aunt passed away and she's upset.
Hey,
Huh?
Sophia, see what I'm doing right now?
Reaching.
I'm
That's a
reaching.
reach.
Wow, that's a far reach right there.
What?
Wow.
Oh, she's an empath? Huh?
That's crazy.
Which I had no idea about. Why would you? It's her boyfriend's aunt
Of 3 months, by the way.
of 3 months. To be clear and fair, I first knew of this hours after I texted Sarah to let her know. I learned through Grace over FaceTime that evening that Sarah was upset over her boyfriend's family, rightfully so. I told Sarah today that I had no idea. Again, why would you? She then sent me a screenshot from the group chat with Grace and I where she did post that his aunt passed away. I didn't read it because I was in an interview then had class. Also, what would OP have done with that even if she had read it?
Right.
Like send him, our best wishes. Sorry, like I hope he's okay.
Your condolences.
Condolences, yeah.
Yeah. OP would be like, well, how do you know that wasn't really hard for me to learn?
Yeah, yeah. Like it was actually really hard for me to learn that your boyfriend's aunt passed.
I have to postpone the wedding.
Yeah.
That evening, I set an update about future goals and still did not read their messages because most times the group chat's just work sucks or funny TikTok. Anytime I find out something is going on, I instantly reach out asking how she's doing and saying that I'm praying for her. Every single time. I told her if I was more diligent in reading the text messages, I would have never sent the message that day. Which I feel she should know that I wouldn't just do that because I have always been careful with her emotions and supporting her through everything. So why would I choose then to hurt her more? That's what's upsetting me too. By the way, it upsets me when you guys don't listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
I think the funniest thing is that everybody knew Sarah was going to react exactly like how she was going to react.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, we all figured that would happen.
The fact that you want her in so many other things and she's still like, no, I'm better than that. Again, great. I know you want to maintain that friendship, but I feel like you're putting way too much energy into this. Where
it's just too much drama.
It's not worth it.
It ain't worth it. I spoke with Grace, and Grace said, I knew you did not know about it when I told you because of how you reacted. And usually you text back if it's something like that. Grace is upset that Sarah is behaving this way and doesn't understand why Sarah is using her boyfriend's situation to practically call me a terrible friend. I see Sarah having the right to be upset, but I ask for some grace and forgiveness because I am not selfish in the sense that I would just tell her because she was already having a hard time. I would never do that. Finally, my last thought is this. She said she assumed she would be a bridesmaid because we have been friends for years, and that the fact I'm not putting her up front with everyone just shows I do not value her. This has made me feel that it's not about being my friend, but about obtaining the role. The worst part of the conversation is over. I apologized for upsetting her and said that I cannot change how she feels, but can only apologize for making her upset.
Oh my goodness.
And that's the end of that story.
Somebody call Sarah a wambulance.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like, oh, she's using the boyfriend's aunt passing away, like when a kid starts crying,
Yeah.
and she's like, I want a piece of candy, or I want what you won't give me, and then you give it to him. He's like, thanks, thank you, finally some recognition.
Exactly.
So, sorry, OP. I mean,
doesn't sound like a great friend.
no, she sounds
Sounds like a friend you need to maybe just slowly phase out.
Yeah, just enjoy your wedding. I mean, she'll be there, and try and just ignore her.
Yeah.
Again, you apologize, and I feel like you don't need to apologize for anything.
Agreed.
So,
Agreed.
good luck.